What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to part 4 of my boss fight guide for Dark Souls 3. For this episode we're going to be tackling the Crystal Sage boss, which can be located in the Crucifixion Woods. Now, as its name might imply, the Crystal Sage is a sage. And he is pretty much weak to everything except, can you guess it? Magic. This boss has a couple of interesting attacks, namely a bunch of magic darts. He can attack you with a knife, and as such, he is parryable. I'm not going to be doing that strategy today because most people probably will not go for that strategy, and I want this to be repeatable for everybody, like I've said before. So before we get into it, I am using the Onyx Blade, which has some good dark damage, which the Crystal Sage is vulnerable to. I have the Havel's Great Shield, and some staffs and talisman for some buffs. Now, as for my rings, I'm going to keep my miracle rings on in case I choose to use my Sunlight Spear. I had the Dark Clutch ring to boost the dark damage of my blade, and of course the Chloranthy ring. Now, one thing to note about this boss, he can summon clones. Those can be killed in a single hit of a throwing knife typically, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to equip that so I can show you guys what that would look like. And before we go in there and start tackling this boss actually does have a summon. You definitely don't need him, but I'm going to go ahead and bring him in to show you guys where to find him and how it works with the summon. Now, in order to get this summon, you actually have to free the Miracle Lady. And Eygon, his summon sign will appear right here. So I'm going to go ahead and summon him on in. And he's going to help us take some aggro off the boss and or the phantoms when they spawn. Give him a minute to pop in here. Alright, let's rock and roll, guys. So if you've watched these videos before, you'll probably notice the same buffs that I do each and every time. I'm going to go ahead and give my shield a magic buff to make it take basically 0 stamina to block. And I am going to go ahead and give myself the Sacred Oath, which is going to give an attack and defense buff to both myself and Eygon here. Super useful. Now, let's run on up, buff on up, and get to it. Now, when he's up here, it's really easy to just kind of spin around. You can pretty much just wail on her. She is going to move here in a second. And there she goes. I'm going to go ahead and top on off here. Now, these crystals here, you just need to avoid them. They will damage you if you run into them, but just keep in mind. So, here are the clones. You'll notice the blue clones, excuse me, the blue sages are actually the clones. The purple is the real one. So just to give you an example here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to target this one, hit him with a throwing knife, and gone. And here's the sage again. I'm going to go ahead and hide behind this pillar. Buff on up. Just give myself some extra damage. And come on in. Me and Eygon are both going to give her the smackaroo. You guys can see how a summon for this boss makes it even easier to take out those clones. Here's the clone. Eygon went ahead and smashed him up. Now those magic darts can hurt, so just keep that in mind. I'm just gonna go ahead and whack this one. And this should finish the sage off. There he goes. And that was basically it, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Leave me a comment down below if you can find a better way to defeat this boss, or maybe even a cooler way. I'd love to hear it. I'll see you guys on the next one.